going on, you guys? It is TBA, the Baltimore Angler, man, and guess what? I know you all saw the video of me catching that big shark, all right? That was on a brand new rod and reel combo I had put together because I want to get something just for sharking. Purpose of this video is to talk about that piece of equipment, all right? And what I'm gonna do, we're gonna break it down so that way you see every single thing that I purchased. Starting out, all right, the first thing I purchased was not the rod or the reel, all right? In fact, truth be told, that's the last thing I purchased. I purchased the reel and I purchased the rod last, all right? And that's because I follow what I call the hierarchy of purchasing fishing gear, but that's gonna be another video, all right? Before I get into the hook, I wanna explain something. When I last went fishing with Kevin, I had noticed that I was using 16-knot offshore angler circle hooks, all right? And between the point and the shank of the hook, there wasn't a whole lot of space. It was a short gap or whatever you want to call it, right? That night when I was using those hooks, we missed a lot of sharks. They kept coming off of the hook, So I'm like, all right. So finally, started talking to someone who's pretty well versed in shark fishing, and he showed me a picture of an owner 16-aught circle hook, all right? I saw some photos that he had taken of sharks that he was catching, and he was landing every single shark, every single one, all right? So I went ahead and I purchased these 16-aught owner hooks. Let me tell you, they are not cheap. For 2 of those hooks, it ran me about $23, and I bought 3 packs. And when I paid for shipping, yeah, it added I almost spent $100 just in hooks. All right, I got the hook. It made a world of difference because one thing I noticed, it's a much thicker hook, T-bone steak. You know what I'm saying? And there's a much wider gape between the shank and the point of the hook. And when you're dealing with toothy fish like that, especially big sharks, you want a wide gape between the shank and the point, all right? And this is the hook right here. This is a 16-aught owner circle hook, all right? As you can see, the distance between the point and the shank is a lot wider than the offshore angling 16-aught circle hooks I was using. I could take my hand and wrap it around the shank of the hook, all right? Next, I get steel leader because with sharking, you definitely want to have a steel leader on there, and this is from offshore, and this is a 275-pound steel leader with, I believe these are 1/6 crimps. I have 100-pound shock leader on here. I cannot tell you the name of it because Kevin hooked me up with it because I had 300-pound mono shock leader on here, and because of the thickness of it, it took up a lot of space without actually having a lot of line on there. So we took that off and we put this on here, and now I seriously got close to 900 yards, which is the capacity of this reel, but we'll get to that. After the shock leader, I have my absolute go-to favorite braided fishing line on there, all right? And I actually have, it's the Daiwa JX8 braided line, all right? And it's 80-pound test. Now, I'm gonna tell you like this, I've had lots of different fishing line that would break in a fight, break on a snag or whatever. This Daiwa JX8 braid, you have to try to break it. It's not impossible, but it is super tough. When I was fighting a big shark yesterday, get out of here, dude. You see him try to photobomb what I'm trying to do? Doggone boss. Anyways, where was I at? I lost my train of thought. The dude seriously flew up in the lens. The Daiwa JX8, when I was fishing, when I was fighting the big shark, right? That shark is giving it me its all. I'm giving it my all. And only the weakest link, obviously, is the fishing line, right? Didn't break. There was no frays, none of that. So I've been Kevin actually got me just loving Daiwa JX8. So now, what I did, I decided to think economically. So I actually bought a big spool of 3,300 yards Daiwa JX8. That set me back about $220. Yeah, it costs a little bit of money, but in reality now, I'm not gonna have to keep buying braid. I got a lot of braid. I could just spool my shark rod or 2 catfish rods that I use that same braided on. All right, let's talk about the reel. All right, the reel that I got on here, it is a PENN SQUALL 60 HDLD. All right, 60 series. This reel is heavy duty. This is something that I'm not used to purchasing. And let me tell you the story how I came across it. So when I was looking to get a shark set up, Kevin had recommended that I use either the Norfin 10,500 series or the, I think it was a PENN, I can't remember the brand, but they were both spinning reels, right? And it was also the 10,500 series, which could hold a lot of line. Well, I was almost about to purchase them. Then I looked and it dawned on me, they're not bait feeders. Now, this is completely opinion based. This is just, you know, everybody has their different views, but me, when I'm handling bigger fish that have the potential to run very fast, I like something that's gonna help them run a little better without possibly my gear going in the water or line snapping or something. All right, and typically I like to use bait feeders. My go-to choice of reel is the Okiaya ABF Avenger, but I needed something with a lot more line capacity, so I decided to look at heavy duty bait casting reel, right? So I looked at the PENN SQUALL, I did some research, and one thing I really liked, it had 900 yard line capacity with braid. All right, so looking at that, I said, you know what, that's probably going to be a lot smarter to get that, because with these sharks, obviously where we need to put the baits, we can't cast out that far, so we kayak them out, and the more line you have, the deeper water you could get to. I was on the brink of being spooled when I was using the old catfish rod with the Okiaya ABF Avenger 90 series, because I've had some snags on it, and a lot of times it would I'd have to cut it away, and the line capacity got so low to where it was really not an effective setup for sharking anymore. I mean, I was still able to make it work, but it really wasn't the best choice at that point. I'm gonna tell you why this reel is perfect for me. All right, you look at the handle, you notice the handle right here. When I found this reel, normally I'm right-handed, but I like to reel left-handed, and this is actually a left-handed PENN SQUALL 60. All right, so now it just feels more natural for me to fight the fish. One thing I had to get used to with this reel, as you notice, there's no level wind right there, so you have to actually use your thumb as a guide to put all the line on there. I feel a lot more confident doing it now, but when I first got this reel, oh my goodness, I put a mono backing on there for the braid, and I thought I was going to scream. It looked awful. It looked like I had never spooled a line before, so I took all that off, and I did it a little bit easier this time, and it actually worked. It still looked messy, but it was even. So at that point I said, you know what, I don't feel comfortable putting this Daiwa braid on this reel, because that's going to be a lot of line. I don't want to mess that up. So I went over to Bass Pro and I had them put it on for me, and then from there Kevin put on the 100-pound shock leader on there, and then again with this 100-pound shock leader was able to max out the spool on the line, so that way now I can put it out a lot farther. And that's what we did. We were able to put our baits out a lot farther, which resulted in a much bigger shark yesterday, as you saw in the video. Speaking of which, if you have not seen that video, the link is going to be in the description. All right, now I had bought my hooks, I had bought my steel leader, I bought my line, got the reel. The last thing I wanted to buy was a fishing rod, and I said, you know what, I want to shop around and I want to make sure I make the best choice before I just buy a fishing rod. And again, The only thing I actually bought in store was the PENN SQUALL 60 LDHD, because everything else I had to buy online, because a lot of equipment that I prefer you really can't find in too many stores. So I'll reach out to other anglers that I know, and 2 anglers, one of them being Kevin, the other one being Darren. Shout out to you, Darren. They both immediately recommended the Okiaya Black Venom heavy duty fishing rod. I said, Okiaya? I ain't never even heard of that. So Kevin sent me a link and I checked it out, and probably about an hour after that, Darren I didn't even really say much about it. He immediately said, dude, you gotta get the Okiaya. That rod is amazing. And I said, you know what? I'm getting the Okiaya, because there's 2 very experienced anglers I know that are saying, hey, get the Okiaya. Not only that, but Okiaya is Maryland owned and Maryland made. All right, so I'm gonna show you all this reel. All right, this rod, I'm sorry, but this thing is heavy duty, man. It is super thick. It's a shorter rod. All right, and you can see that beefy handle right there. And not only that, but this is actually a trolling rod. All right, that's what, for those of you who don't know, that's what the butt end of the rod, that's why it looks like that. All right, this setup held like a champ. This rod didn't even get worked out by that big shark. So I mean, I'm very confident in this setup. Again, everything that I'm explaining in this video, I'm going to leave links to this entire setup I have right there in the description. I'll be honest with you all, after everything was purchased, this whole setup was probably close to $400. But when you start messing with saltwater fish, when you start messing with these bigger fish, you need to spend the money on that kind of equipment, you know. And again, I wanted something just for sharking, because every time I go sharking with Kevin, previously we would always break down all the catfishing stuff on my Marathon Fortress, and we would put sharking stuff on there, and it just was in my eyes, it was unnecessary time being spent. So I said, you know what, it's time to invest in some real sharking gear, because I can see myself doing this regularly. And I said, okay, we're gonna get a whole setup just for sharking. So that's what this one is right here, just for sharking. All right, so I hope you all enjoyed this video, man. Temperature's turning up a little bit. Kev just woke up, you know what I'm saying, and I know he's fiending for coffee right now. That dude seriously drinks a gallon of coffee an hour. All right, but don't tell him I said that. All right, what's up, Kev? But I'm out of here, man. That's my shark setup. All right, so in the meantime, y'all take care. Be easy. Baltimore Angler.
Oh wait, can I add
See
something
you
before you?
later.